Man, I burned my tongue. What the hell did I burn my tongue on last night? Oh, beefaroni.
Oh.
Man, it got late last night, and I'm like, I don't want to go to bed without being entertained, and I started up Edge of Tomorrow super late. But I
Yeah.
was hungry, and it was like midnight. I'm like, cook up a thing of beefaroni because it was the only thing I had in the house that I could cook super quickly. Because it's midnight. You don't want to spend like an hour making food so you can start watching your movie at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then even once that was done, I was still kind of like up, and I watched Doctor Who after that, so I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning last night just because
Yeah.
I was being stupid. Anyway, yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, we can actually, yeah, we can do clappy clap whenever you want.
Sure. Let me get into GarageBand.
GarageBand.
All right, I'm ready when you are, pal.
Okay. I'm gonna hit. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Start recording now. And
I'm sorry. Hold on. I was not recording. I had already started recording. So
Oh!
bear with me a second. Let's start over.
Okay, just do 1, 2, 3. Clap now.
Too late. I already stopped and deleted it.
Okay, Okay, well, I have to stop and delete my shit too. Okay. Just let me know. Just say go when you want to start recording, and then we'll do.
Okay.
Clap. Yeah.
So on 3, we'll start recording.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. We're recording now. Okay.
Okay.
And now on 3, I'm gonna clap. And you can
Okay.
do your headphones thing.
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, just speak loudly.
Hey Bill. Hey hey Bill. Hey Bill. Hey hey Bill.
Okay, cool. That should work. But yeah, no, it's quite a week. Well, I mean, I just saw you a couple times this week, so it's not like I have any dark secrets to hide from you.
Yeah. No, I did not do much this week to speak of, so it should be a short podcast, which is fine.
Yeah, what do you got going on for the rest of the day? Just hanging out with Hannah Groff or building Legos?
She's off doing things. I've got to clean up the house.
She got social life. This isn't even her town, and she's out.
Well, she has friends who are in town for the XOXO conference.
Did she actually go to the XOXO conference?
No, she just had friends. She was in San Fran, so she had friends.
Man, I forgot to. I don't know if I should have put any of the XOXO conference stuff into the podcast notes, but man, that sounds like a good goddamn time. I saw that Dylan and Katie were out testing new board games last night.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like fucking fun. Everyone on Twitter is freaking out about Marrying Mr. Darcy, which actually is a game that you can buy now. It's not. Maybe they're still testing it at this thing, but like.
Do you want to stop and we can talk about? Is this podcast talk?
I guess so. Yeah, sure. After we're recording, so at least I can salvage this and slip this in the middle of the podcast. Anyway, okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Boy Hattie Podcast. Right, it's our time to talk to you about pop culture garbage we feel strongly about. I'm Annie.
I'm unhinged through time because I'm Tom Cruise.
Hey Bill, you were just telling me about a game called Marrying Mr. Darcy.
Annie, can we not record this in YouTube with like metal cage overlay so we look like we're robots on the battlefield?
We could do something like that. You know what? It's a shame that Google Hangouts stickers don't include some sort of mech suit sticker.
Some kind of, Edge of Tomorrow mech suit. Yeah, no. We were just talking about how the XOXO conference is going on in Portland. What is the point of XOXO? Is it just a generic kind of like nerd stuff?
No, Bill. It's supposed to be like a movers and shakers in new media. Is my understanding.
Well, that is kind of nerds, but it's not like just general nerdery.
Bill,
but yeah,
it's not like a Comic-Con.
No, but it's for like creators and stuff like that, kind of making weird, crazy, like on edge of technology and social stuff kind of stuff, right?
The idea is that it's supposed to be like a lot of cross-functional and cross-discipline creators in new media come together and power.
Yeah, we only brought this up because we were talking about this right. Actually, we should have been recording this while talking about the podcast. But listener Hannah Groff, she's in town and she's visiting friends as part of the XOXO conference and stuff. And I guess Anita Sarkeesian talked for the first time since she was driven out of her home by the Gamergate stuff last night, and she got a standing ovation, which, congratulations to her, she fucking deserves that. When I found out the friend of the podcast, Katie, was going to be at Sarkeesian's talk, I was totally jealous because I would have killed to go see her.
Yeah.
I'd kill to go and give her a hug and say, I'm a fat white guy from the internet. Let me give you a hug.
For the record, Hannah Groff did try to go sneak in using the wiles of her Australian accent. It did not work. So she could talk her way in. I don't think you could, my friend.
But yeah, the other thing we were talking about, I guess they test board games, new and recently released board games, at the XOXO conference, and I saw everyone out last night was flipping out about a new board game called Marrying Mr. Darcy. which is it's just a card role-playing game where you're trying to. I think the point of the game is not only to marry Mr. Darcy, but become the most content more than everyone else.
It is a truth universally acknowledged that lovers of Pride and Prejudice want to marry Mr. Darcy. Marry Mr. Darcy is a strategy card game where players are one of the female characters from Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice. Players work to improve themselves and attract the attention of the available suitors. The lady do this by attending events and improving their characters, but advantage can be gained by using cunning. All of their efforts are in hopes of marrying well and becoming the most satisfied character at the end of the game.
I love that it's the satisfaction more than anything else. I like the idea that everyone might get to marry Mr. Darcy, but it's really about who's really just the most well-rounded, most happiest person at the end.
Oh my god, they have an undead expansion.
Oh really? That's a bummer. Ugh. Soon to be a major motion picture in a theater near you.
Hey, you know what? You gotta stay relevant with that DLC, my son.
I'm gonna create my own spin-off on that game. It's gonna be called Defending Mrs. Sarkeesian. You get White Knight cards. You don't care about what anyone else says.
That would be kind of interesting to have like a internet like onslaught card game, like something to build.
Actually, you know what?
You could totally do that.
We should. Okay, now that we've mentioned this live online where it's being recorded, we've patented that idea technically.
Don't worry, no one listens to the Boy Howdy podcast, Bill. No one will steal our ideas.
That's what I'm saying, exactly. This is our own little private think tank. Whoever is listening, the two people listening, you're also part of this patent thing. So you're essentially investors in our idea. Oh, one person just left, so fuck you. You're out of the fucking deal.
Speaking of Gamergate, I had a weird moment yesterday where I kind of felt like, in a brief moment, I'm like, I understand where all these people are coming from. Of all things...
Do you have a stroke?
Well, no, okay, so here's my thing. I tend to approach conflicts. I'm not as unfortunately, my friends know I'm not a very confrontational person. I don't deal with all that stuff. I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I don't do it very well. And I have a bad habit of I always can see the other person's side, and so I'm always like, well, they're.
Well, you're a pretty empathetic person. Empathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have trouble understanding these conflicts where people are just like, fuck them, because I genuinely can't understand having some empathy for the other person, even as, you know, you disagree with them. So we went to Multnomah Falls yesterday. We were taking Hannah Groff and her friend Claire. They're visiting from Australia, and we're like, well, we'll drive them up the gorge. And
push them off.
Exactly, push them off. Forgot that it's like a weekend at the end of summer. So it was slammed, and we wound up dropping them off at the falls and driving further down and wandering around, and then driving back an hour later to pick them up. And we circled this tiny little parking lot 5 times trying to find a parking place.
Wow.
On the 5th, well, and really, I was ready. I'm like, this is going to be our day because it's just so crazy and there's no parking. On our 6th go-around, we're waiting to turn out of this parking lot, and suddenly someone next to us is about to pull out. And they have room to pull out and for us to park. And I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. This is great. Fully changed the indicator.
How does this tie back into Gamergate?
Hold on.
No, I know it will.
I'm
really
there.
It's going to take some gymnastics to pull this off, yeah.
This dude bro, apparently he was in the car behind us, was the passenger, gets out of the car, walks in front of the parking spot, and blocks it, and then motions to the driver of his car, like, come here, I'm saving this for us.
Oh, really?
And I have never... Like, I have a terrible temper, but I can usually always, like I said, I'm a creature of empathy. So I'm like, if someone cuts us off in traffic, I'm like, well, maybe they didn't see us, or da-da-da.
Yeah, but this...
No.
Did you run them over?
Well, the thing is that I have never done this before. I rolled down my window and yelled at him. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you serious? Seriously? And he moved a moment later. But for a brief moment there, I was like, I had my hand on the door handle. I was going to get out of the car and shove that motherfucker. I really was. I was going to resort to violence. And in that moment, Foley tends to be a little more cranky than I am. So she was even like, oh my God, Annie, are you going to assault that guy? And in that moment, I was like, this is how they feel. They feel like someone is blocking the parking spot of gaming. And they want to turn it into a handicap lane.
Yeah, unjustly. They've been waiting, but now they're, I gotta see that.
All these people who just want to get out of the car and shove it into Sarkeesian. And it's, in that moment, I was like, Oh, we all just need to come. You know what? Who cares? It's a fucking
I
party
mean,
spot.
I guess if white guys have always had like 30,000 years of the upper hand of social society, and now you just happen to be born at the tipping point where white guys are kind of losing a little bit of that control, you might feel like, no, ooh,
Well,
that
what cracks
sucks.
me up?
But yeah,
What really cracks me up about Gamergate is what control are they losing? Like, really?
that's the thing. Well, they keep on thinking that like everyone wants to take away their games when really it's not about taking away or even changing games that are made, but just like creating games that like that include more people.
Yeah.
It's not a zero sum thing. It's you're just
Yeah.
trying to broaden the appeal of games. You're not trying to suddenly go back and retroactively censor games or change content or anything like that. Although I mean I could see them like I could even see when like the I could see gaming being an escape from reality. And you
Yes.
don't want politics and stuff being brought into it because it's that escape. But this is also the result of gaming needs to grow up, and it's going to have to like actually take some social cues.
See,
And it
beyond
can't
that,
always just be
though,
like this grubby like little. It's like comic books. Can't always be the super niche thing that's just made for white guys to jerk off to. It's gotta
people
evolve.
people making the I don't want to be reminded of politics game cracks me up
Yeah.
because it's just because you're a white male. And so it doesn't remind you of politics, but every time I play a game, I'm a second-class citizen.
Well,
I'm
exactly.
a
Yeah.
punchline. Like, a gay person is a punchline, if nothing else. It's like I am reminded of politics all the
Well,
time.
these games that seem apolitical to those guys, it's because
Yeah.
those games have been molded and designed for those guys. But to
Yeah.
anyone else, there's political stuff because it's so shit can be racist, shit can get sexist. They just don't see how weirdly like fucked up the politics are in those games because the games are designed to cater for them. But they just can't. That lack of perspective is a huge part of those Gamergate guys. But and even again, a big fat dopey white guy, I can understand sexual frustration and wanting to have something for yourself, and I can understand where they're coming from. But also, at least I'm happy that I can at least be empathetic, that I can see other people like
Yeah.
beyond myself. I can think outside of my own head at least a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to pat myself on the back saying, "Oh, Bill, you're so much smarter than everyone else." But it is like there is a certain kind of like emotional intelligence and empathy you need in order to I don't know. And it doesn't help that you know what? A big thing too is it's easy to forget how a lot of these guys are super young, and these are kids who
Yeah.
grew up in the internet and kind of in their own little like 4chan bubbles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they haven't even like I grew up without the internet. I grew up in a world where you kind of have to be empathetic to other people, or you get psychologically evaluated and you get medicated or you get put in that house.
Yeah.
Whereas these other kids are kind of growing up without that. I don't know, it's weird. It's a social a generational gap kind of issue too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these, especially like a lot of the people who aren't even pissed off about the sexual politics with Sarkeesian, but are pissed off at just like the game journalism stuff. They don't seem to understand how journalism works or how the industry
Yeah.
works. They seem to think they don't have an understanding about how business works too.
Yeah,
It's
like
upset for a lot of the wrong reasons about this stuff.
one of the things that happened this week was one branch of the dissatisfied gamer population started a new journalism website called goodgamers.us.
I didn't even hear about this.
And the thing is that it's just an enthusiast press. Like they're all just like people who contributors who are just doing it for the love of their it's only supported by Google AdSense.
Yeah.
And that's it's kind of interesting to me because it's essentially a regression to early internet times when it was just enthusiasts and you had no one who was doing these things full time, where they were basically just regurgitating like what they could find and clinging on to every scrap that they could because they'd had no connections or anything like that. It's interesting. I say more. You know what? Of all the ways to react to Gamergate, that is the most constructive and proactive thing. It's like I would like to add my voice and perspective to this and help in a non-abusive way. Of course, then one of their first articles talks about rape in a really dismissive way.
So,
Good
did you
start.
actually read much of it or anything like that, or did you
I
just see
looked
the
at
title?
I looked at some of their sites, at some of their stuff, and
Is
everything
it
like that.
saying like rape is okay, or like talking about rape is okay, or anything like that?
Oh, no,
Or
no, no, no. They're talking about a game that has rape as an aspect of it, and
no,
it's
no.
just a really dismissive description. It's like, well, rape doesn't really matter because it's just, whatever. You just move on. It's just a
I was
thing.
hanging out with Dylan yesterday, and we were talking about, like, 4chan and Reddit and Gamergate and stuff like that, and we were talking about how um, she didn't know that Yatsuba is the icon for 4chan,
Hmm.
and that's actually where they got their name, because her head is supposed to be like a four-leaf clover.
Yep.
And so that's kind of, and she was like extra horrified about that, like Yatsuba, is tied to the basis of such a always scary organization. But yeah, and
Yeah.
we also talked about Cube Girls for a while too. That kind of horrified her too. I found a couple new fetishes this week.
Cube girls?
I found two
Do
fetishes
I
I
even
found
want to
online,
know?
actually on Reddit this week of all places. There's a whole fetish about dudes with monster heads. Uh, Dudes, kind of like Minotaur things, either dudes with like bull heads or monster heads or something. But it's human from the waist down. And I've seen arguments within this fan community for dudes with bull heads as to whether or not it's hotter if they still retain their human intelligence, or if they just turn into like they have animal intelligence, so they turn into animalistic fuck machines with human bodies. Oh, and the other thing is, Cube Girls is the fetish for women being compressed into helpless cubes. Not painfully
Okay.
bloody, but yeah, what?
Okay. Cube girls. What the hell is that? The other one. What's that called?
I had to pick it up. I don't even
Beast men, you say? Eh?
You know what? It may just be. I think it maybe just sort of sprung from like the Altered Beast video game from
I'm
like
sure.
20 years ago. Because that's just actually that is a game where it's just guys with like animal heads. Yeah. I thought you might actually be interested in the Beastmen idea. Yeah.
I was actually looking at Tumblr one day, and I was talking to someone about the reason why I asked is that I found on one of the male gaze blogs I follow, there's the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen, which was this really, like, obviously this photo shoot of this dude in pseudo-Roman garb, but in, like,
Yeah.
a fetishy way. And then someone had really poorly photoshopped a steer head on it. And it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen, but then I clicked through and looked at that whole Tumblr, and it was just a whole Tumblr of animal head dudes.
Yeah, this may
Like-
this may have been an extension of that, because I saw it was art and photoshops and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever, and I clicked away, but I wanted to show it to someone, and I've actually been looking at it. I'm like, no, really? I found this whole Tumblr of animal head
Okay,
people.
let's found our way into this fetish through different channels. Okay.
Bless.
So what would you prefer? Would you prefer guys keep their intelligence, or they turn into animals, like they lose their intelligence and just turn into beastly fuck machines? Which is the better one?
That's hard to say, Bill.
I could see if it was a temporary thing, like a werewolf thing. Losing your mind would actually have more of an appeal, but you don't want to permanently just turn into a dumb animal. Though. So,
Yeah.
Although,
It's
would it still be possible to kiss them? Like, I guess it would just be about sex, and you can have a conversation, like
That's
kiss.
a weird thing. That's
I'm just saying,
bless.
these are the questions I think, like the Cube Girl thing. There was a debate in the Cube Girl community as to would the girl's feet still be sticking out. So if your foot fetishes, could you still
Oh, see, that makes me sad. You know what? If you're an animal-headed beast man fetishist, you can hire a dude and make him wear a mask.
Yeah.
If you're a cube fetishist, you're out of luck.
There's no outlet for you unless you have a girlfriend who's really willing to kind of compress herself a little bit, kind of like.
There's got to be a market here for there are like I can't remember what they're called. Matt, if you're still on the listening, maybe you'll know. You can get these like pieces of furniture that are like sex furniture for you to put your fleshlight in, so that you can fuck an actual thing. It's like a sex ottoman sort of thing.
Really?
Clearly, there's a market here to appeal to cube girl demographics. Where
Could you not? Oh, what? So like you could like put a girl into a cube kind of thing?
Well, you just basically do a print of some sort on this fuck furniture, and then add your.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Bill, can you please put a note on this week's episode that my mom really should not listen to this one?
Okay, I'm gonna add that literally to the top of the show notes.
Anyway, what were we actually talking about?
Oh.
You, Reddit, 4chan, we were talking about empathy and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is the worst thing in the world.
And he just got a message from her animal-headed sexy boy association membership people.
Or I got a text from Hannah Groff saying we should hang out. No.
I'm doing a podcast. Oh, we gotta keep talking. The energy's gonna get sync. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so the only thing I really was pretty low key this week. I was just hanging out with folks.
You were pretty low key. I was pretty Thor.
Oh, that genuinely took me that amount of time.
I can see in your face, kind of like thinking it over, like what?
I gotcha the jokes. Okay. All I did this week was I watched a lot of this PBS series called American Experience, which I started calling Annie's Ignorance Parade because this is a series about popular, basically aspects or people in the American experience and American popular culture and American history, and just kind of focusing on different aspects. So they have one on the Amish, and they have one on the they had one on Henry. Well, the ones I watched were ones on Henry Ford, Billy the Kid, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, these are the documentaries they always have ads for. Like after you watch like a really cool Nova special, they're like tonight at 1 a.m. American Experience about.
They're really well made. They're really good.
Oh yeah, they're not bad. Yeah.
They're super. They use a lot of
American history. Yeah.
They use a lot of really compelling photography. One thing that's interesting is that they talk to a lot of. They don't necessarily talk to a lot of academics. They tend to talk to a lot of historians and writers. So people tend to come to things with a more humanistic perspective. So it's a lot of more empathetic perspective to tell about, at least with the three I watched, because they were about people, to really kind of focus more on the kind of conversational human perspective of these and really help humanize these people in history. And man, I don't know jack shit about these people in history. That's what I'm like. I realize I don't know jack shit about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Well, it's funny because you love the movie, but like, yeah, who really looks up like the actual like historical figures? Because
Billy the Kid, I thought I knew all about him. Nope.
No, he was a tiny guy with tiny hands who kind of shot people in the back and was an asshole.
No, actually, not at all. You should watch the one I'm doing.
I thought that's what happened.
No, he was basically.
Have you seen Young Guns? Young Guns and Actually, you know what? Young Guns 2 is actually a legitimately fantastic movie. Those are good cowboy movies.
You told me this many times, Bill.
Yeah! It actually goes into the whole thing. Did Billy the Kid actually die, or did he fake his death? Anyway, yeah.
No,
that's the polar opposite of the American experience.
But no, they were really interesting. I highly recommend them. The reason why I wound up watching them is that the Butch and Sundance one just showed up on Netflix, so I watched that. And then Apple TV has a PBS app that has some of these specials on them, so I watched the one.
I'm gonna watch some of that this afternoon because I have that app. Yeah, I've never actually clicked into it.
Super good shit. Really well done. I highly recommend them. Henry Ford is really interesting.
Are they all like hour-long documentaries?
They're like 2 hours, dude.
Oh, really? Jesus, okay.
At least the Henry Ford one was. I can't remember how long.
Ken Burns shit over here.
Butch were. But the really interesting thing about Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid was I didn't know they were a murder-suicide.
What?
Like, that's how they died.
Was it the same thing? I mean, did they actually die in Bolivia?
They actually were in Argentina. One thing that was interesting was that the movie actually follows their life pretty accurately, except that when they went to South America, they went to Argentina, and they actually set up a farm. Like there's which is funny
because their girlfriend in the movie is kind of trying to goad them into like being farmers and shit like that. Calm down, yeah.
Well, there are actually photos that you can find online of Butch, Sundance, and Etta Place on their farm in Argentina. Like, it's really interesting. And then you don't really know why, because Etta Place is kind of a mysterious figure in history, but she leaves at some point. And then things happen, and they wind up getting found out, and it's very similar to the climax of the movie in that they're holed up in a place, but what really happened was, sure enough, like get shot, like 100 billion people show up and start shooting at them in this house, and then the next morning, basically the local forces go in because they don't want to, board it at night. Turns out that was the first time that Butch Cassidy had ever killed a man was that night.
Oh, really?
And then, because he was known for his really thought out crimes, where like he would really think out the getaway and everything like that, and so he usually got away with cunning, and he didn't have to resort to violence. But in the end, they found them the next morning, and it was clear that they were wounded from the gunfight, but they knew they were going to make it out.
Yeah. So they just waited till the morning just because they knew it wasn't smart to storm a house in the middle of the night. Yeah.
The army came in the next morning because they weren't gonna. No one wanted to be the first man.
Realized something was up when they wouldn't they had stopped shooting back all night and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So
That's interesting, huh?
They're really good and really well done, and I had a lot of fun watching them. And yeah, Henry Ford is a crazy old crank. Here, this is just it. Here's what I learned. I read a Wikipedia, and now let me tell y'all all about it. Did you know that Henry Ford was a dill bag? Did you know? Anyway.
Was Henry Ford the guy who was fucking around electricity too? Am I thinking of Edison? I'm thinking of Edison. He was going against Tesla.
Henry Ford was also
how much I know about history.
Edison was also a dick. Edison was friends with Henry Ford.
Edison was the one who electrocuted an elephant.
Yes, but Henry Ford is a weird dude. He decided to double the minimum wage, and so his worker, like the national average was like $2.50. He took it to $5 an hour. But then also, like, years later, he, was really bad with union bashing, and his dudes, there are, all these photos of... I'm going to stop talking about things I watched on a documentary. This isn't actually interesting. They're really good. Y'all should watch them.
That's what I do to you.
I want to create a webcomic that's about a guy who invents cars who's also the king of the Jews, and it's going to be called Inri Ford. I-N-R-I Ford.
Oh, that's really... really...
And he's just he hates horses.
Loki and Thor, that was pretty good. This is reaching a little bit. Hey, Bill, tell me about I Know That Voice.
I Know That Voice super good. You should watch it because you like cartoons and you like people who voice cartoons. And it's also free on Netflix. There's absolutely no reason why you should not have watched it 4 times this week.
This is true. Is Tess McNeil in it?
It's got everybody in it. They actually even have archival footage of Mel Blanc talking about stuff. So this is, I Know That Voice is the documentary that was put together by John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender, and also Jake on Adventure Time. And he essentially just went out and just did the documentary where he just goes and talks to all of his voice acting buddies in the voice acting community. And they have, what's her face, who did the voice of Rocky Squirrel?
Oh, June Foray.
I mean, they got pretty much everyone who you would... There was a couple things where I was, waiting for, Gray Delisle to show up. She shows up. Everyone! It's... The best part is actually just, the lengthy interviews they have with people where, everyone's cracking wise and doing impersonations of other characters that they've never voiced before, but, people, trying to impersonate each other, and, there's a thing where, 2 guys are trying to out-Mike Tyson each other. And it just generally... It almost feels like hanging out with all these voice actors for 2 hours. Yeah. It's really casual and laid back. And it gets interesting, too, because the last, quarter of the documentary is about how kind of voice acting for video games is starting to really encroach on voice acting for cartoons, where that's kind of, becoming as much of a thing as it is, voice acting for cartoons. So they talk about, a lot of their work for video games. But they do mention that, how their voice work for video games tends to not be that fulfilling, because half the time you're just huh, huh,
yeah,
watch out. But they do talk to Commander Shepard.
Oh, Jennifer Hale?
Yeah, she shows up and I love you, Jennifer Hale. And they also spend a decent amount of time talking to Andrea Romano, who is the voice casting director for a lot of stuff, including Avatar and Legend of Korra, and I do have a crush on her.
She's been doing the casting work for 20 years.
Well, they specifically talked to, there was a voice casting director guy who worked in the 60s and 50s who worked on all the old mid-century cartoons that everyone loves, and she was kind of one of that guy's disciples, and so they talk about the lineage of voice, not just voice acting, but also voice directing and stuff like that. So it's pretty well-rounded documentary just about the current state of cartoon voice acting, and also with they still look back enough. They talk to June Foray. They have archival footage of Mel Blanc, and they have this one guy. He's a super skinny guy where he's talking about I'm a prime lesson in that you can't judge a cartoon voice actor by his physical appearance, because he starts talking about how he showed up for an audition for the Flintstones cartoon. I guess in the last 10 years there's been a new Flintstones cartoon. This guy is 5 feet tall, weighs about 90 pounds, super skinny, scrawny guy. And I'm who the fuck does he voice on the Flintstones? And suddenly he rips out with a fucking toad perfect Fred Flintstone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, the funny thing is too is I'm old enough that I don't know a lot of the cartoons that these characters voice because it's funny because there's a lot of stuff where you just have voice actors just talking in their cartoon voice and you're supposed to know who they are. And it's like John DiMaggio doing like a Bender voice, and you're like, oh, he's doing Bender. But other people, I'm like, who the fuck is this person? Who are they voicing? But it's still entertaining just to see. So even if you don't know half the cartoons, it's still a fun documentary to watch. But yeah, a lot of Animaniac stuff. They have the guy who I think voiced Wacko on the Animaniacs. Again, I've never seen much of the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
But I mean, they talked to Rob Paulson.
Jess Harnell, yes, I think it's.
But yeah, the other guy, he looks like he should be in a Kiss because he has super long hair.
Yeah, that's Jess Harnell.
It's just he looks like a nut job, but it's a really cool documentary. It's free, like I said, it's free on Netflix right now. It's fantastic. It's definitely worth your 2 hours.
Bill, tell me about playing Destiny. How's Destiny treating you?
Oh man, Destiny's a bummer. Destiny's not terrible. It's just really bland and kind of lacking in content. The real thing, a lot of people have been freaking out about how the game is not getting terrible reviews, but just getting middling reviews, kind of like middle of the road, like sevens. Usually big budget games like this, it's kind of a given. Games like this will at least get like 8s and 9s out of 10s.
Yeah.
But this game's kind of getting a lot of like, yeah, it's good, but it's all right. The big thing about this game is that everyone seems to be dancing around. It's utterly lacking in personality. Everyone's criticizing how terrible the writing is and lacking in content. A game like this where there's not that much content and the writing is kind of where the writing is terrible and the world building is really thin. You can get away with that if the stuff, even if the thin little minute amount of content and writing you're putting into the game has enough character to draw you in. This game doesn't do that. It's funny because everyone loves Mass Effect. Anyone with a heart loves Mass Effect. Mass Effect eventually just evolved into a third-person shooter, where really the only meaningful thing you're doing in any environment, Mass Effect, when you're not talking to people, is just shooting things.
Right.
They dress it up. They give you such an excuse as to why you're going off and shooting things because you got to attack these guys because these guys over here need you to save this mission and stuff like that. There's enough context in there you feel like a meaningful part of the world, whereas in Destiny, the only thing you're doing in any mission is that Peter Dinklage's little robot cube shows up and says, we got to go find this old computer and hack into it. And you walk through these big, fast environments to get to an old computer. He starts scanning it, and while he's scanning it, monsters jump out and attack you, and you just fight those monsters, and that's the end of the mission. That is every mission in the goddamn game.
Yeah.
There's no Mass Effect does such a better job at dressing up. You get that kind of stuff to where if you feel like you're more like in an actual fictional world, whereas there's not even that any kind of pretense in Destiny. So I think that's a big part of the reason why people are kind of. It doesn't do a very good job of distracting you from the fact that you're just shoot.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty. It's fun to run around and do these missions with other people. But like if you're by yourself, it's kind of like riding a roller coaster by yourself, where if you're by yourself, you're not feeding off the energy of other people with you. It just kind of becomes kind of a creepy ride, or maybe not a roller coaster, but like a dark house ride or something like that. We don't have other people yelling and screaming, kind of like feeding into that energy of that environment. It just becomes like a shitty roller coaster. But
that was very much so my experience playing the beta, because I played it. Fully and I both played it for like an hour by ourselves. We were just kind of like, and then I finally played it with, like, I think you and Conley, and had a really good time. And but that's just hanging out with my friends. That's not necessarily like...
and the writing is really generic. You're playing as Guardians who hang out at this place called the Tower. You're fighting something called the Darkness, so you can protect something called the Traveler. And the Darkness is just like this vague bunch of aliens called like the Cabal and the Fallen. And there's no personality to it. It's almost like every alien race is just a bag of generic potato chips, where it's just like labeled. It's very black and white label and stuff. And there's only like 2 or 3 speaking characters in the whole game, and the little bits of lore that you can find in the game, nothing in the game is explained to you in terms of, like, you have no idea even what century it is that you're fighting in, what any of the stuff is. What happens is when you defeat an enemy, they drop a little card that you pick up, and rather than being able to read that card in the game that's supposed to explain what that boss was or whatever, you have to go to Bungie's website
What?
So what the game's already threadbare on lore and explanation and context for whatever it is you're doing in this game, and the fact that like whatever stuff they kind of came up with, you have to stop playing the game and go read it somewhere else is fucking insane. And so yeah, and Bungie's never been really good with writing and world building to begin with, but I think they're kind of banking on the fact that like Halo, they made so much money off the Halo games with like an expanded universe of books and stuff that like kind of fleshed out the Halo narrative. I think they're already assuming people will want to do that in this world with this game. But they cut out so much of the story and the content that there's almost no reason for you to even get invested enough to want to read the expanded universe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's yeah.
But
it's not bad. It's fun to play the shooting mechanics going around shooting people is fun.
Yeah,
but
the shooting in it is a very satisfying thing.
Yeah, no one's gonna be talking about this game in a couple months because it's there's no like you can max out all your levels in the game in just a couple days. People have been pointing out how you shouldn't compare this game to other first-person shooters because it's trying to be an MMO. So if anything, you should compare this to like World of Warcraft when that first launched. And I think Phil Kohler from Polygon, who gave it the game really low review, pointed out the fact that even when World of Warcraft first came out, it would take you like a good 6 months to reach the level cap. There was like 6 months of there was still a huge amount of stuff in that game.
There's a lot of there.
Yeah, in this game you could see everything there is to do in this game in like 3 days. So even on MMO terms, there's just not that much there. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't regret buying them and having a good time playing with other people. But yeah, that's a little oof.
Bill, if you want a game with good writing and a rich sense of lore, you should play Hatoful Boyfriend.
So we were talking about this last week. Yeah. So what happened this week in the world of Hatoful Boyfriend?
I genuinely can't tell you because it was so unexpected and surprising. Talking about it would be the worst.
So you can open up the secret endings.
If you woo enough birds, you unlock the secret ending, which is longer than the core game.
Really?
I was playing it over, I kept having to stop and then go out to dinner with friends or go to bed or something. I have no idea how long this extended ending took, but it was ridiculous. The secret ending is one path with very limited choices. So it's not it's as branching as the core game itself, but it's hilarious because they basically tie all the various and sundry insane threads together and explain the universe and explain why you're at this school for pigeons and all this other bullshit.
They really do all that stuff.
They do. They explain it all. It's amazing. If you want more.
How many hours did you have to put into the game in order to find out all that stuff?
It's hard to say because when you look at my Steam account, because Steam keeps a record of how long you play the game, it says I've played 228 hours because I kept leaving my computer on while I was I'd go away and come back and finish it. So
I believe that's actually how much you played.
I want to say I played through the game I finished it I want to say 7 times to unlock that ending. So you pretty much once you've and it behooves you
7 times. Do you mean is that with you dating different people and having different outcomes of the game?
Yeah, 7 different. And it behooves you to have played through as many outcomes as possible before you before you unlock the special ending.
Yeah.
Because the special ending talks about a lot of the other characters.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it gives you context for all this. Yeah.
But if you play it before you've wooed that character, then it's essentially.
Yeah, you really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah.
Well,
how much is this game?
I want to say it's $10. It's ridiculous. Bill, you would hate it.
You would hate it. I spent $150 on Destiny. Beat it in 3 days. I don't know how much I'm really going to play it. You spent $10 on Hatoful Boyfriend. Technically have played it for over 200 hours. I think you came out on top.
Hatoful Boyfriend is just amazing. It's one of those things where I really want to talk to someone about it, but I don't want to spoil it because
that's rough.
But pleasure...
You need to have a spoiler cast. I need to take a week off the podcast and you can have other people and just have a Hatoful Boyfriend spoiler cast.
I'm really excited because my friend Brenna is playing it.
Annie, I don't want to... Can you see the sun outside your window right now? This sounds really weird. Is it normal colored? Because right now, in my neighborhood, it has turned nuclear orange.
It's all filtering through the clouds. So there's
yeah,
a lot of
but the
weird
clouds
backlight
are
going
like,
on.
it looks like the end of the world outside right now. Anyway, it's doing that weird thing where sometimes, yeah, depending on the clouds and the weather, like, oh, it's like a golden sunlight here. I feel like I'm
Do you
about to
feel very
die.
Fallout?
Yeah! Oh my god, this is like super cinematic in here. I feel like I'm in a tampon commercial.
Anyway, half the fun of Hatoful Boyfriend is thinking, like, going into it knowing nothing more than you're going to date pigeons.
Yeah, exactly.
And then unraveling.
I can't remember. Are you actually playing as a pigeon or as a person?
You are a human girl.
Oh, okay.
And the
Do you-
less I can say about it, the better, because that game is just like this weird delight to be.
Do you grow a pigeon head and suddenly you meet your sexy boyfriend who turns out to actually have a human body?
Never.
Because the camera suddenly panned down and he's got like badass pecs.
I will say that the game does involve body transformation. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hatoful Boyfriend is amazing.
What
I'm
animal
so
head would
excited
Tom
about it.
Hardy have?
What?
What animal head would Tom Hardy have?
Hey Foley, if Tom Hardy had an animal head, what animal head?
Casual question.
In our household, this isn't really
Hold on.
That's something we're thinking about.
She's there for all afternoon. Yeah, she could check back in whenever she comes up with the
You'd
the
probably
idea.
be a pit bull, right?
Either
Either
like a Wolverine.
a wolverine, yes, or a badger.
What animal heads would you guys have?
What animal head would you have, Foley? I would probably be a pig.
I'd
Let's be honest here.
some sort of large cat,
Aw.
big cat.
Why
Yeah,
a pig?
Foley would be a tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be a tiger. Or a lion.
I just
can
watched
see
all
that.
the extras on Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Charlotte Riley,
yeah.
I'd watch that. Her and Tom Hardy. I would totally.
So we'll go to Edge of Tomorrow now. Edge of Tomorrow, we will also watch it last night. Bill watched it yesterday. It's coming
I'm
out.
not letting you off with being pig-headed. That's terrible.
What?
Would you not be a badger mole or something like that?
No, I'd probably be a pig. Let's be honest here.
Hey!
I'm
Hey.
honest. I love how y'all are both offended on my behalf.
Yeah. What?
You'd be a cutie bear!
Okay, fine. I would be a cutie bear.
You'd be a cutie sun bear!
Oh god, sun bears are terrifying.
Yeah, I know!
It's the
But
worst.
they're cute.
Yeah.
You'd be a
I
guinea pig.
Yeah, that's
Food.
there we go.
guinea pigs are food. That's terrible.
Love salad.
Oh, you eat. But I would. Well, I guess I could if I don't want to be an animal.
Would you be a
so
cutie corgi?
No, I'm not assertive enough to be a corgi.
Would you be a tired corgi?
I'd be a really tired corgi.
That tired
Think it was
corgi,
his
yeah.
mouth.
But again, this is your animal head. It's not your full body. It's just your animal head.
Wait,
That's what I'm saying.
Animal heads.
I'll tell you about it after.
Alright.
I know that is a really weird out of
I
context
do love
question.
that it took a long time for that question to come
Yeah, like,
up.
why are we talking about this? This is weird.
Which is very telling of our relationship. So Hannah, a friend of the podcast, Hannah Groff, is visiting from Australia. She's in
Oh
town.
my god.
And she can now say with full authority that in the Foley Millennium household, we do spend that much time talking about Tom Hardy. And I do spend that much time playing with Legos. So she can now testify to the
Yeah, I would have
reality.
thought you would have picked like a Lego species of head that you'd be, or like, Bentonite, like, you'd be a wolf or something.
Well, the only Benton species are lions, gorillas, rhinos, wolves, tigers, cheetahs,
Ravens. Did you
foxes, ravens.
Oh, the only one.
skunks.
You just named half a zoo.
But I'm just saying those are eagles,
But they ride horses.
phoenixes.
There's no horses. There's no like anthropomorphic horses in Benton, though, right?
I'm really excited. There are no. All the horses are actual horses. in
Oh,
Benton.
horses. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm really excited because welcome to our Lego Corner, everybody.
I don't get it.
Sid's happy.
Welcome to Lego Corner, everybody. So I was reading a Lego blog the other day because this is my life, and they were talking about rumored Lego sets. Foley's very excited too. I'm really excited because the rumored sets for Legend of Chima include bears, so you could get bear people.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that sentence was going.
Oh,
Could you
it's so
not?
good.
Since the Lego heads, are they just stickers or are they painted on like for all the Chima stuff?
They're printed just like a normal.
Okay, because I thought maybe if they were a sticker thing, you could actually like design and make your own Lego heads. But if that wouldn't fit in if they're all printed on them.
Well, I can't just get blank heads or get off the printed heads and print. But yeah, I've looked into this at length. Having Legos custom printed, usually the minimum is like 300, and I've
How many
actually
would you
done this.
get?
Well, the thing is that you can't make a custom printed Lego because it's a mass produced process. It'd
Yeah,
have to
that's
be,
what I'm
like,
saying. Yeah,
100.
exactly. Yeah, you have to like order in bulk.
So I was actually thinking, like, what should we make something for our wedding? But no, I'd rather do what we're gonna do.
That could be favors you give out to people. You just get to keep the surplus.
Yeah, well, that's. Hey everybody, you get 500 Lego Badgers that are arbitrarily dressed like high-stakes poker players from the year
If people know you
1800.
enough to come to your wedding, they should understand.
Exactly.
Memorable.
Yep. So anyway,
exactly, yeah.
we're not gonna talk about Lego too much. Shit, I can't remember. Oh, Edge of Tomorrow. I was trying to segue into Edge of Tomorrow. We also rewatched Edge of Tomorrow last night. Man, I'm so mad you can't buy an Angel of Verdun poster. That is such a crime.
That's not a thing?
No. In the movie, there's this propaganda piece that you see repeatedly that's of the Angel of Verdun and of Emily Blunt's character.
And Phil Graffiti, Full Metal Bitch. She's my favorite.
And
Yeah,
it's
would you guys
ridiculous.
prefer it to have the Full Metal Bitch graffiti or not?
Her corner.
I don't know. I just kind of want the poster. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, that movie made $2 at the box office. It's one of those movies where you're kind of surprised they even put it out on video because it did that badly.
Oh, really?
Much
I
less
didn't
actually
know
having
that
merchandise
badly.
for it.
No.
No, it tanked big time. That's why everyone was trying to figure out, was it just the bad name? I mean, it tanked badly enough they essentially changed the name for the home video release because they knew that there, like so few people had seen it in the theaters that they weren't losing any kind of like mind share for doing that. Yeah, now it's
wow! It really
technically
did tank. It cost 178 million. It grossed 100 million in America.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Which actually $100 million for a movie is still not terrible.
No, that's
but
total
for a $200 million
gross.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
So I did buy spoilers. I may have procured this movie in an
Really,
unauthorized
Bill?
kind of way.
It is available legally for download via iTunes. That's what we do.
I am going to buy the Blu-ray. It's one of those things where it's not a perfect movie or anything like that, but it's a good movie. It's good times. It's not like I've seen people rave about how, oh my god, this is one of the finest science fiction motion pictures ever. It's good. I don't know if I would say like it's like, oh, it's the new Blade Runner or whatever, but it's fun as hell. It's a great movie.
Like I don't care about like this sort of movie being high grand cinema. I just want to have.
Well, that's what some people are trying to push it up to. Like I don't care. I just want to be entertained. Exactly. Yeah.
I just want to have enjoyable sci-fi with Emily Blunt punching people a lot and slicing
Can
into
we talk
critters
about
with the
spoilers?
helicopter blade.
A bit here because I loved the movie all the way up until like the last act, where the whole time jumping back, like resetting time mechanic stops being a thing, and that actually kind of like sucked a lot of the fun out of the movie for me. I don't think when it stops doing that and someone comes to like, oh, we can no longer reset the day if anything goes wrong. If we die now, we die forever. I thought the movie suddenly turned into a really rote, typical science fiction monster movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help because at the end of the movie, they're fighting literally thousands of these monsters, which throughout the first two-thirds of the movie, they've already established that any one of these monsters can completely destroy whatever it is that they're trying to do. But at the end, like, when they've lost the ability to reset the day and learn how things are going to work out, that's only they're literally fighting thousands of these things, and they still escape relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like, killed the drama for me. I would have rather the ending being about, oh my god, we can't reset the day if anything goes wrong. There's already kind of a built-in issue where even if you die, if you get reborn, there's this built-in thing where like you think eventually after a while you would just go insane. There's different ways they could have built up drama for the end of the movie that wasn't just, oh my god, I lost my magic power. But it was good. I really, man, Emily Blunt, Jesus Christ.
Emily Blunt's great in that. I love that there's been the two recent really enjoyable, satisfying sci-fi movies have featured Emily Blunt being a badass. It's a good thing.
Yeah, with that and Looper.
Yeah, this and Looper. It's a fine.
Yeah, she's
Emily
both
Blunt.
like falling in love with some kind of like dude unhinged through time kind of story too. Yeah.
It's I'm fine with Emily Blunt being a sci-fi badass. This is a trend.
Yeah, and I get to see her in her natural English accent too, which is also cute.
Yeah. So it's a really fun movie. I think it should not have grossed $0. It's a really enjoyable film.
Which is why we're living in a society where $100 million equals $0. But no, that's what essentially what from in Hollywood terms, that's what it is.
If it costs 170, it makes.
Yeah, her running around. Was that? I didn't realize that was a helicopter blade.
Yeah, Foley just pointed that out to me.
Yeah, it's a helicopter blade with like a Final Fantasy sword hilt built onto it. But yeah, it's just fucking.
It's just totally ridiculous.
I mean, especially Tom, I was talking about it with people last night, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't see that movie because I hate Tom Cruise." This is a perfect. If you don't like Tom Cruise, this is a great movie for that because it's Tom Cruise playing an asshole who gets by on his charm. You had mentioned this movie is essentially the Americanization of Emily Blunt because it's essentially actually my appreciation of this movie is severely enhanced by the fact that I had just seen the Americanization of Emily, an old James Garner / Julie Andrews flip from the 1960s. Just a couple weeks ago, because James Garner died, and this is the one movie everyone kept on yelling at me about. Like, if you like James Garner, you do this Americanization of Emily movie, and that movie is about this guy who he's in the army, he's in World War II, and he gets by. He's participating in the war, but like he's just surviving just by his job is just to procure party stuff for like generals and stuff like that. So he's not actually fighting. He's just essentially just like an office clerk just procuring stuff. Yeah. And Tom Cruise in this movie is essentially the same thing, except he's a PR guy for the military. He's in the army. He's a major, but he never has to see combat. And but he does get dragged into the war. And he thinks he can sneak his way out and charm his way out, but that doesn't work, and he gets totally fucked up, and it's great. But yeah, no, it's If
you want to see Tom Cruise die a million times, and you want to see Emily Blunt be for comedic effect, no less, and you want to see Emily Blunt be a badass soldier, then watch Edge of Tomorrow. And if you don't like those things, you ain't no friend of mine.
Yeah, the animated gif I keep on seeing coming out of this movie, where it's Emily Blunt. It's actually like kind of pole dancing with the floor, where she's like doing push-ups, but then she kind of pushes up to stand up, and she's all oily and sweaty, and it's all like, "Hey, how you doing?" I love that. Actually, becomes like the ending of the movie.
Yep.
Is like it's a gag. It turns into like, man, you're and like, yeah, no, it's cute.
It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. That's Doug Liman. He knows how to make an enjoyable film.
You know what? I didn't realize that was Doug Liman, the guy who made the Bourne Identity, until the end credits kicked in, because the end credits are exactly the same from the Bourne Identity, where it's like the same typeface flying around all this, I don't know, and stuff like that.
He makes enjoyable action popcorn movies. Foley and I are the only people on the planet Earth who actually really enjoyed Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is another of his movies. So.
That guy does good movies. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's hard to talk about that movie anymore. But yeah, one of the best parts too is like the time rewind mechanic. That's one of the things that the movie's actually got a lot of fun comedy bits. Yeah. They play the fact that Tom Cruise can die and reset time.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of funny fucking shit with that
really
stuff.
Do. They really do.
Which they kind of lose that towards the last third of the movie, which kind of bugs me out. But it kind of makes sense. It's that's not the last act of the movie isn't time for funny gags about Tom Cruise dying anymore. Yeah. But I they really wrung as much as they could out of that premise, which is really nice.
Yeah. Speaking of directors whose work you're excited about, there was a horror movie I watched recently, and I know I've talked about it in the podcast, called You're Next, that I really enjoyed. I'm not necessarily a big horror movie enthusiast. It's essentially a home invasion sort of movie, gore fest sort of thing. But I enjoyed it because they did some unexpected things, and the protagonist is an interesting flip on the idea of the woman in harm's way. It's a really enjoyable movie. The folks who made that movie have a new movie coming out in the next couple of weeks called The Guest.
Oh, right. Whoa.
Yeah, I sent you a link to it.
Okay.
What's it about?
It's about, this family gets a guest at their door. It's this gentleman who served with their son during the war, and their son died, and so he's come back to give convey his last words and, look out for them, because he was asked to look out for them. And then, wackiness ensues. Unexpected things happen, but I like those dudes. Your Next is so good. I'm really curious to see what the hell this movie is about.
I would love Your Next even better if it was the wrong "your" in the title, so they would drive people extra crazy. Yes. And the guest could be the THEGUESSED, the guest. Just drive cultural elitists nuts.
Anyway,
so glad to see that you found a horror movie that you dig.
I really enjoyed Your Next.
So it's not super bloody or violent or anything?
Oh no, it's incredibly bloody and incredibly violent. But there's like a kind of realism is a long word.
Was it on Netflix or something?
A friend of mine was like, I want to watch a movie.
Okay.
It's there's kind of a groundedness, like reality, like real consequences to the violence that I enjoy. There was only one moment of cartoonish violence that really pissed me off in the movie, but otherwise it's pretty enjoyable. Enough that the antagonists in your next are these dudes in all black gear, then with these animal masks that are painted white. And Foley and I enjoyed the movie enough that I actually found those same, because they're actual children's masks. Yeah. We actually found those masks and painted them, and they're currently in our garage.
Yeah, they're creepy and in our garage.
They're great. We have all these ideas for Halloween costumes, but we can, in a pinch, if we really just need to slam something together, we can just put on a black hoodie, black pants, grab one of our machetes or baseball bats, and put on a Your Next mask, and we're done. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys have another idea for a Halloween costume setup, though?
We're gonna be, I think we're gonna be Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf.
So then you get Foley head, she gets an animal head, right?
Foley gets an animal head! This'll be perfect! It's gonna be so good.
You know what?
It's gonna be so good.
If you want to do, you can technically do the Big Bad Wolf and the One Little Pig if you're serious about that shit. If you want to, yeah.
That's Bill. I don't want the Big Bad Wolf to fuck the One Little Pig. It's the problem. Come on.
You want the Big Bad Wolf to eat the little pig. That's kind of half the point.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, I'm excited about the guest. I saw the trailer for it before we did the podcast. Is why I bring it up.
No, that's cool. You know, I should have you guys over to like. I should try to find some horror movies you guys might be into, like that kind of caliber stuff, where it's like I don't know.
I've seen
that's like such a unique kind of thing, though.
I only saw The Shining within the last couple of years.
What'd you think of that?
I really enjoyed the hell out of The Shining. It's a great movie.
I like it. I just don't like it as much as everyone else. I think it's an okay movie, but I'm not like in love with it like most other people.
I'm absolutely in love with it. I was convinced that I wouldn't like it because it's such a well-trodden movie and so spoofed and so alluded to. I mean, if you've seen the Shining episode of The
exactly,
Simpsons,
yeah.
I was really expecting that knowing literally everything that happens in the movie, almost note for note, would undermine it. But instead, it kind of took a lot of the heavy lifting off of the movie for me. And it was just about the craft of it and the artifice. And then also it made the creepy aspects all the creepier because I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was coming, and it still scared the hell out of me. So
that's cool. I'm glad it worked out that way.
That was I really enjoyed The Shining. But yeah, I think I watched very few horror movies.
You don't care about Godzilla stuff, do you?
Nope.
Okay. One of my favorite Godzilla movies just came out on Blu-ray this week, and it's actually one of the kind of like the few kind of like legitimately scary Godzilla movies because a lot of the Godzilla stuff is actually shown from like the people point of view. There's not too much. It's a Godzilla movie from 2001, and there's a lot of stuff where it actually kind of shows like the what's the collateral damage of Godzilla going nuts, where it shows him like people inside hospitals right before them like knock down stuff. It's not always just like camera pulled back and he's just knocking over a shoebox painted like a hospital.
Right.
And it's kind of a scary, fucked up movie, and it's also the one Godzilla movie where they explain why Godzilla is just out to destroy Japan, and it's because he is possessed by all the souls that the Japanese killed during World War II. And so he's like possessed zombie Godzilla, which is weird. It doesn't make it. It's still a Godzilla movie. It's still ridiculous, but it's got a little bit creepy edge to it that a lot of other Godzilla movies don't. But anyway, I was thinking about how like if I had people over to watch kind of like Halloween-ish movies, but like stuff that aren't necessarily too bloody, that could be a feature. But I guess I'm trying to think because it'd be great actually to watch some kind of horror-themed stuff with you guys, and like we could watch stuff like maybe The Orphanage or something like that. But I'm trying to think of other movies that you guys may have not have seen before that I could like, because I love watching scary movies with people around Halloween and stuff. But I don't know.
See, for the most part, I don't like to be scared. I don't enjoy being scared. So there has to be something else to it for me to even want to pay attention.
Yeah.
So, totally changing the subject, the other game I played this week was Sacrilege, which is a Twine game written by Kara Ellison, and it's I highly recommend, especially the ladies of Boy Howdy Nation playing it. In it, you are a woman in a club. It's a very brief game. It takes like maybe 30 minutes to play it all, and you're a woman in a club and you are trying to choose who to go home with, and then you have to deal with the consequences of your decision. And it was I finished playing it, and I had a good time playing it. It's really well written and very evocative and everything. But I finished playing it, and I was just kind of like looked at Foley. I'm like, I'm so glad I ain't single. Damn! Like it brought back all of these terrible memories of rejection and all this bullshit. Like I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm not a straight, single hetero lady, and instead of just a married gay lady. God, this makes life so much easier. God.
I saw you were tweeting last night. Did some pregnant lady actually think that like Foley was a guy last night, while you guys were out on the porch or something?
Oh, that was unrelated self-loathing. People always think that Foley is a guy because Foley now has this haircut where she has like her sides are all shaved.
She's the Don Draper, yeah.
And she's got the top all long, and
Foley looks good.
And she's getting more and more ripped from her crazy warehouse job. So
yeah.
Yeah, and my ass is just getting whiter and flatter from my desk job. So
have you guys seen the Tom Hardy movie where he's hanging out with is it like a puppy and something else or something like that?
You mean The Drop, starring Tom Hardy and Noomi Rapace, that just opened in theaters this week?
Yeah, I saw the review for that, Entertainment Weekly. They gave it like an A or something. It got a good review, and it seemed pretty goddamn cute.
Everyone seems to say that it's a really solid crime movie, and I love solid.
Oh, it's James Gandolfini too, but he does not play the puppy.
No, he does not play the puppy. I would like to see it very much, very much. I've not had a chance to see it yet. That I will go out to a theater to see.
You know, I hear it's about Tom Hardy. Every time he pets a puppy, when he's finished petting the puppy, he goes back in time to the point where he started petting the puppy. And so this blissful, endless loop.
That would be perfect.
So you can just pet the puppy in different ways.
See, Bill, I've been on this movie's thread for a long, long time because during shooting they kept releasing all these pictures of Tom Hardy with a puppy, and it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Did he adopt a puppy afterwards?
No, but Tom Hardy is a big dog lover. Like you can find there are all sorts of Like there are really great montages of him with all the dogs in his life.
He took his dog to that fashion show.
Oh yeah, he just had a fashion launch recently, and he did bring his dog to the launch party. So bless Tom Hardy.
God.
Anyway, to bring it back to Edge of Tomorrow, we talked about this when the movie came out, but the member of J Squad, the crazy lady, is actually Charlotte Riley, Tom Hardy's wife.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
that weird little lady?
Yeah. Nance is Tom Hardy's wife.
Tall.
She's actually really pretty. It's really funny.
How tall is Tom Hardy?
Probably about 2.5 feet tall.
Oh, he's a short one?
All actors are short, Bill.
I imagine Tom Hardy being like 7 feet tall. I imagine like when they're having sex, she's like this. I imagine she's like a pea on the side of a hill.
Tom Hardy fully.
Tom Hardy, he's 5'8".
He's 5'8".
He's like average. Okay, so he's actually my height.
Than I am.
Yeah, Foley is actually taller than Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's
but I'm
wow.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Foley's okay.
Wow.
Everybody's the same height when they lay down.
That's right.
You know, it's kind of one thing where they actually, it's Edge of Tomorrow is also one of the few Tom Cruise movies where they actually kind of like show Tom Cruise being kind of shorter than everyone else.
Yeah, they let him be
usually
short.
he's on an apple crate. Which
is nice. Yeah, they let him be his actual height. Yeah, but the best part, really my favorite part of Edge of Tomorrow, beyond Emily Blunt, and beyond Tom Cruise dying repeatedly, is actually Bill Paxton's performance.
Oh, I wasn't even saying anything about that because I had no idea he was in the movie, and when he turns out to be one of the major characters, I was like,
great.
Oh God, Bill! He shows up, and I was like, this movie could be the worst goddamn movie ever, and I'm gonna finish this goddamn movie. It was good times.
His performance is fantastic. He is having so much fun.
Yeah, no, everyone like the cast. There's like a weird doctor guy who shows up and who kind of helps out Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise, and I've seen him in other stuff, and he's always been good stuff, and he always plays good doctor, like crazy doctor stuff, and
so basically
it's a movie all around. Lots of practical effects.
Yeah,
there is a lot of CGI digital stuff.
I mean, all the monsters are all CGI, but I like they actually made those suits. That's great.
I saw footage this week online where they were showing they actually had live rockets flying through the air, blowing up things on set, which I don't even understand how or why you do that, but yeah. They showed everyone, like, a gang of, 100 people in mechanical suits, in this big mud pit, surrounded by green screen. But they had live rockets, flying over their heads, crashing into stuff.
They're hardcore.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Friends, in summation, Edge of Tomorrow gets the Boy Howdy verified stamp. We give it 2 out of 2 Boy Howdies.
With our rating system just being the two of us.
I guess.
Like
That's all
I
I
say,
can
2 out of 2 boy howdies doesn't sound like, well, 2 thumbs up. That's essentially what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, is it 2 Legos up? Like,
think.
you need to have a more thematic thing.
I
Can't
don't
you
know if
give
I
me
would. I don't know if I want to be that emotionally. It's bad enough that I'm already emotionally attached enough to Legos. I don't need that too. Thank you.
We don't need that to be. We don't have to seek out like corporate sponsorship with Lego. Just have our rating
No,
system
frankly,
endorsed by
it would
Lego.
save me a lot of money. I
Can we ask
could.
Bricks and Minifigs if they want to advertise on the show?
I
Brought to you
would
by
do that
Bricks
in
and
a heart.
Minifigs.
I would sell out in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we've had actually 1 or 2 offers, and
No,
we
Bill,
never
we've
got back
gotten
in touch with
like,
them.
will you pay? We'll pay you $100 if you embed our advertisement on your website permanently. It's like that's not really an offer to sell out.
We get to read out on the website.
All right, friends, we're gonna take a little break, and then we'll be back for the Geek Week in review.
We're gonna have this advertisement for Geeks and Bricks and Minifigs right here. Hey
Hey,
everyone.
Bill, you know what I'd really like to go purchase? Some bricks and also some minifigs. But how can I make that happen?
You know where I want to go to spend $100 on a bag full of yellow Lego heads? Bricks and Minifigures out in Canby, Portland, Oregon.
Why, did you know they also have location here in Beaverton, Oregon? There are so many options available to us.
There's so many fucking Legos in this town.
My God! And did you know that at the Rose City Comic Con they will also have location? Who knows what Lego we can buy?
Stick your hand into this bucket of dirty Legos that has kids' names still written on some of the pieces. They're only 5 cents a piece. That is kind of disappointing. That was kind of bummed when sorting through that stuff, you could actually see, like, there's a real Andy written on cowboy character's boot moment of,
You
like,
could see
these
each
actually
other's hearts
belong
and
to a kid, and they
dreams.
got, like, rid of these Legos. It's kind of sad.
Oh, well. All right, friends, we'll be back for the Geek in Review.
For real.
All right, pal, I'm going to go re-up some coffee. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. Yes. Check. Well, that's really good. That's really good, Foley. Oh, wait, I really like that. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. That'll do. That'll do.
Our life. A lot of high fives. We high five at our wedding. We get married and kiss and then high five. Of course. So it's gonna be like this.
A boo 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 boo. A boo 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 boo. A boo. A boo. A boo 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 boo.
It sure did, girl. All right, thank you, friends.
We might have to sync recording the podcast again because actually my recording stopped
Oh no!
about 10 minutes before the end of the break. What happened was my headphones started shorting out. I thought it may have been a problem with the actual like your end of things. So to make sure, I unplugged and replugged my headphones back in.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it was something on my end, which it turned out actually turned out to be. But for some reason, doing that actually automatically stopped the recording of GarageBand for me.
Oh no!
So I'll use for the audio for this podcast, I'll either pull all of it from the YouTube channel, or I'll try to patch that last 10 minutes in before the break in from YouTube channel stuff.
Just pull YouTube.
I'd rather try to record the rest of the podcast too, just in case, because the audio is better if it's direct, but. Yeah, so if you don't mind, we'll just we don't have to do any major syncing. We just like start recording at the same moment. And I'll just figure it out from there.
Yeah, hold on just one second. I'm going to tell Foley one more thing. Foley, you know how they'll sometimes do the thing where they'll broadcast live events in theaters and you can go see it?
Yeah.
The Old Vic Theater, the Young Vic Theater, is doing a version of A Streetcar Named Desire with Ben Foster and Gillian Anderson.
Oh, yes, it is. And there's a young cutie.
Vanessa Kirby?
Yes, a young cutie as her. I'm not into young women. I'm just like I saw a really good BBC article about the two of them being playing sisters.
Yeah.
And how totally elated the young girl is.
Because it's Gillian Anderson.
Because it's Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
She's just like.
So they're doing a broadcast of it, and you can actually go see it on Tuesday in the Clackamas Town Center Theater.
Really?
Yeah. Would you want to go see it?
I think I might.
Can I take you on a date?
Can I stare at Gillian Anderson and Ben Foster's chest hair?
Yep.
Which apparently looks
I've actually never seen Streetcar Named Desire, so that would be an interesting first way to
You
go.
never have?
Mm-mm.
I think I have this up on you because I took a film studies class in college.
Yeah, I've never even seen the Brando version.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like Tennessee William, though I've only ever read and seen The Glass Menagerie.
He loves angst.
Yeah, he do.
Angst!
He would write a lot of really good Harry Potter fanfics.
Yes, he would! Oh, it'd all be about Sirius Black?
Yep.
Aww.
Okay, alright.
Werewolves.
Alright, okay.
Now that I've caught up my wife with that
Thank
stuff, we can do the thing.
Wait, what? What?
What's up?
A little bit of a supposed rumor about some kind of mystery casting on Star Wars Episode 7 just popped up on the internet.
Yeah.
Of course, it's rumor bullshit, but no. Anyway. Let me know what you want to record.
Well, I'm still recording. Do you want me to stop recording?
Well, I didn't think about that part. Yeah, you know what? Fine, fuck it. I'll just start recording now. Buh! And I'll try to sync it later. And like I said, if I just get frustrated, I'll just pull the YouTube audio. So
Okay. Yeah, don't kill yourself, my friend.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to do the thing?
Yes.
All right. Hey everybody, welcome back for the Geek Week in review. Time to talk about some things that happen. This is oftentimes my first time learning about it because Bill writes the notes and I'm just swanning in to read it.
Most importantly, we have some breaking news from the internet rumor mill about Star Wars Episode 7. Supposedly,
Bill, shall we start with that? Yeah, go ahead.
This week, a special Daniel Craig filmed a mystery role in Star Wars Episode 7 that will be expanded upon in the sequels.
Oh.
That's the reason why I thought you might be interested in that, just because it's Daniel Craig. Which, actually, Daniel Craig in a Star Wars movie, hot shit, yes. Which, again, this is Star Wars rumor. That happens all the time. Supposedly, Morgan Freeman's going to be playing Obi-Wan Kenobi's mentor in the prequel trilogy. Bullshit, but
Bill, good news. He's playing a Jedi with an ass flap, so we can see his booty. Just for you.
Yeah, no, he's just totally exposed. Not even an ass flap. It's just totally it's just exposed. He's like wearing Jedi chaps. Yeah, actually, even his brown outer robe is still like a cutout little TV window. Just his perfectly formed ass. Oh my god.
Long-time listeners of the Boy Howdy podcast know that Bill is a Daniel Craig butt fancier.
I would eat mayonnaise out of that guy's asshole.
Oh god. That made me the first.
Maybe not. Maybe that's exaggerating a little bit.
I like how even you're like, maybe that's too far.
You know,
Hey,
I'm just saying, if Daniel Craig and who's not Daniel Craig, who's the other lady?
Rachel Weisz?
Rachel Weisz. If they were both turned into cube girls with their butts exposed, I'd have to think for a moment as to which one I would bend down and start eating sandwich out of.
So I'm gonna change the subject now. Bill Murray's picks for an all-female Ghostbusters crew:
Oh.
Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Linda Cardellini, and Emma Stone.
Really?
That's his official.
Those are not
pick.
that far off from ours.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good.
Yes.
You need a black lady in there though. It's a little white. It's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little. Hey, how you doing?
Just prove Bill Murray's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, that's a good cast.
I like that Kristen Wiig's response to this was sure, because quote, I'll do anything Bill Murray tells me to.
Yes, which that's when you hear Bill Murray talking about you, that is the appropriate response. Is yeah, sure, whatever Bill Murray's into, I'm up for it too. No, that's great. Actually, no one had talked about Linda Cardellini before, but that's a great pick too.
Yeah, she's not
Linda Cardellini being Lindsay from Freaks and Geeks, and also
Velma from the Scooby-Doo movies.
yeah, with crazy seeing her all sexed up in those Scooby-Doo movies was really alarming. Not that I ever saw the movies, but I saw the pictures. And, like, she was such a frumpy girl in Freaks and Geeks, so it was weird to see her, like, in a super tight sweater and everything. Like, it's like, ugh, I don't know. But, yeah, no, that would be a funny-ass crew, though. You know, I still want the black lady from the Daily Show to show up. She would make a great Ghostbuster.
I like Aisha Tyler.
Aisha Tyler would be fantastic, too.
She'd be really good.
You know what? I'm thinking just Nicki Minaj, maybe. Nicki Minaj and Beyonce.
Oh, gosh.
As
And
competing
Drake is the
Ghostbusters.
receptionist. Yeah.
Oh, my God, Nicki Minaj is the receptionist.
No, I went Drake as Nicki Minaj's receptionist. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. I still like the idea of Nicki Minaj being the receptionist. She's a total fucking freak over the corner. Oh God. Okay.
In other news,
Black Lady Daily Show. I always forget her name. I'm not racist. It's been a while since I watched Jessica. Is it Jessica Williams? I can't remember. I'm tired. Anyway, what?
During the announcement of the iWatch, Apple also let slip that after almost exactly 13 years, they're finally ending production of the original brick-like iPod. Farewell, chunky little 160 gigabyte monster.
Which is a little bummer, just because, like, it's weird to think that is, like, an old piece of technology, the original iPod.
Yeah.
That's the iPod that still had, like, the big, clunky, like, real hard drive. Whereas I think a lot of the iPhones and stuff like that these days, maybe they do have real hard drives, but I know a lot of them have flash drives. But yeah, this is the big dedicated where it's just music. Maybe did the iPod Classic ever even show movies that have like video capability?
I don't know which one qualifies as the classic. Like I had an iPod.
It's just the big fat white brick. That's really like it's really almost like just by its like definition, like its thickness. It's not like like the iPod Nano and stuff like I've had for 7 years. That's not technically the classic, but whatever's like the big brick, yeah.
I'm sure I told this story before, but a friend of the podcast, Erica Moen, when I first moved to Portland, gifted me her / let me alone and borrow indefinitely her iPod Classic, and I ran across the street in an attempt to catch a bus and dropped it and watched a SUV drive over it. And it's still, and I mean literally, like I saw it go under one wheel and then the other.
Did you collect the pieces and bring them back, or?
I ran out in the street and grabbed it, and it still worked for about a month. So.
Did you ever tell her about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were like, oh wow, Erica, it's a
This is not my secret shame.
This broke for no reason.
It's very mysterious. I just sat on it. It was so weird.
Yeah, you cannot pull that off with an iPhone or an iPod Touch. Yeah.
That was an impressive little machine.
But that came out almost exactly 13 years ago. Like that's when the original iPod was announced, which is just it's crazy to think that much time has passed. But yeah. Do you care about the iWatch? Are you gonna buy like 3 of them?
Well, I don't have an iPhone, so that kind of makes that.
That's a real bummer because I like the idea of the iWatch, but the fact that like it's only an extension of your iPhone, it's not like its own like separate thing.
I have to admit, I had seen because Android's been talking about an Android watch for a while now, and I kind of want one.
12-hour battery.
That's not the Android one. That's the iPhone.
Both of them have.
A watch with the 12-hour battery is kind of wank.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. Yeah.
I mean, I understand why. It's essentially just a little version of your device on your wrist. I get that, but...
Did you hear that thing that they're actually selling devices now that will actually block Google Glass signals so they can't connect to the internet to force people to take off their Google Glass, or at least make sure they can't communicate, like can't send out pictures or anything like that, or upload. Yeah, it's very specifically like, yeah, it's a little thing that you plug into your an electrical outlet that just sends out signals that shuts that down, and also will like shut down like any kind of like weird like wireless spy cameras that might be in the area or anything like that. I don't know how well any of this stuff is supposed to work, but it's funny that there's a burgeoning market for anti-Google Glass jamming equipment. Like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I have to admit, there are times that I wish that, phone... I'm as bad about this as everybody else, but though to be fair, when I'm idly looking at my phone while hanging out with people, I'm not texting or doing things. I'm just playing Marvel Puzzle Quest like an asshole. But there are times when I'm like, man, this is appalling. I'm just hanging out with friends. I should not be looking at my phone even once. Like, I wish that you could just, like, walk into a bar and, like, your phone immediately bricks for the next hour until you leave or something like that.
Well, I know some bars actually kind of do a thing where, like, you just put your phone into a bucket or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of becoming a thing, which is still kind of nice. I kind of wish, when I have people over to watch movies, I wish I could kind of collect everyone's phones and just, like, put them in a basket to say, hey.
Yeah.
It's like, even during a good movie that everyone's invested in, it's inevitable people start sneaking out their phones just to kind of check Twitter or something like that, and not paying attention, and yeah, that's a little, so.
We're too old, Bill.
I saw two people I know on Twitter. They went to go see. They live in LA, and they were showing Fantasia on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
And they're having a big fancy production of it. And they actually even got dressed up because they said they were cosplaying as Fantasia moviegoers in like 1959. And they said they showed up, and there was a bunch of girls sitting in front of them in one of the front rows, just taking pictures of the screen during the film for no reason. And they got in a confrontation where the girls were like, "Could you please put away your phone?" And the girls were like, "Oh, fuck you, asshole!" And like, we're not the assholes here, and like turned into a whole big confrontation. They just eventually left because people are such goddamn creams, which is weird. Why would so yeah.
Friend of the podcast. Matt Nolan's in the chat, and he notes that schools are looking at buying wireless jamming equipment to keep students off their phones, but it's actually illegal to do that in the U.S.
Okay. I wonder if
you can make the argument that it's like an emergency tool, and like if your family needs to reach out to you or something like that. Like I can.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, no, it's hard to be civil when a stranger is an asshole. And then it's really hard, like when they're like, fuck off. It's really because your point of view is just like, well, you're being an asshole. Stop being an asshole. That conversation is never gonna end well. And yet, my hand was on the handle of the door. I was gonna shove that man for being an asshole.
Dude, I love you to death. Oh my god.
Foley was like afterwards. Foley was like, give me this look. I'm like,
that fucker deserved to die.
I was so bad.
Can we stick ISIS on him?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Tomorrow, Microsoft will announce plans to buy Minecraft studio Mojang for $2.5 billion. This is rumored to be part of Microsoft's attempt to bolster its Xbox division before spinning it off into its own company separate from Microsoft itself.
Yeah, who knows if that's actually true. That's just the rumor. That's what's happening, which I guess like spinning off the Xbox division. Well, the Xbox division has never been profitable for Microsoft, and so I don't know if they would just be spinning it off just so it's not dragging down like Microsoft corporate profile, like in profit profile and stuff like that. The suggestion would be that like the Xbox division would no longer have to answer directly to the major corporation in terms of like major decisions it's making. It could have more of a game rather than the decisions for the Xbox division being made by people who don't know anything about games. Supposedly, it would be the gaming people within Microsoft who would be making all the calls, and they would be like a more fleet-footed, snappier company as a result of that. So, which would be interesting. It would be nice to see Microsoft get its shit back together and become its own dedicated gaming thing, where you have people actually making the decisions who actually like are gamers and understand what the market kind of wants. But
I do like a tweet that people were floating around because of this rumor, which was from Notch a few years ago, where he was like,
"Oh yeah,
Microsoft asked me about supporting Windows 8, and he said, fuck you, pay me $2 billion, and then I'll support your product."
Exactly, yeah. That looks like what's happening. Which is the real bummer. Yeah, no, it sucks that Mojang, you think they would have stuck around for a little bit longer before they let themselves get sold out, but I don't know. I don't know what happened here. Just even this summer, Notch was talking about how he was wishing he could just sell off the company and not have to deal with like Gamergate style assholes on the internet and stuff. Like
Yeah, I mean, just being beholden to Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like, just having, like, you know, and then being, like, the folks who made Minecraft and having that, like, hang over you, and, like, any game you make is not going to reach those peaks, so...
Yeah,
but
they're never going to make another game as popular as Minecraft, so...
Yeah. And just feeding the beast that is Minecraft must be a hell of a thing.
It's interesting, too, because I know Notch has kind of divorced himself from Minecraft for the last couple of years, because he ended off future development of the game off to a second-hand guy. And that guy's been the guy in charge of Minecraft for like actually for longer than Notch ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And so Notch has been trying to make his own games like separate. Like he had the space game where he's supposed to be creating resources and stuff that kind of fell apart and stuff like that. So he's trying to make other games, but yeah, it just never happened. Well, the interesting thing is, if Microsoft buys Minecraft, I would assume they're not buying Minecraft. They're not buying Mojang to just buy Minecraft, but it's mostly just to have a developer so they can say like, oh, from the like whatever games they produce in the future is from the people making Minecraft. Like people are worried that now this will mean that Microsoft will yank Minecraft off of all non-Microsoft platforms, which would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because it's sold so many copies. How do you suddenly yank down a game like that? Like, there's no way they can possibly do that.
Well, if they do is they stop supporting those things, and if
they stop supporting, man, that'd be piss off so many fucking people. Yeah. Oh my god, people, this could go. From a PR perspective, Microsoft buying Mojang could either be like one of the smartest decisions they've ever made, where they seem kind of like these benevolent things where they say, hey, we bought Mojang, but we're going to let them be their own separate entity within the company. They get to continue developing Minecraft the same way they always have. Now they just have extra resources because they're part of our company, and we can also make sure that they have the resources to make any future games that will be exclusive to our platforms, but we'll still make sure that everyone else still gets, future Minecraft updates. Or they become miserly fucks and try to lock down Minecraft and just piss off everybody even more than everyone's already pissed off at Microsoft. So it'll be interesting to see which track they take on that. But we'll find out soon, I guess.
I just don't see someone spending $2 billion to share.
That's the weird thing. But how if they don't share? People are gonna fucking burn Microsoft down.
Well, no, I mean, just all new Minecraft shit will be Microsoft exclusive.
Like, they just come out with like Halo themed
Yeah, Minecraft. I mean, it could be they give Minecraft to non-Mojang developers.
Microsoft is already looking towards like licensing Minecraft more, so you would have like movie licensed Minecraft not even skins, but God knows it'll be. Yeah, it'll change. I
mean, apparently they've had a lot of success on Xbox Live having game-themed skins for Minecraft. So
you said one of the top sellers on, PlayStation Network is you play as the Naughty Dog characters as Last of Us characters and stuff like that. So.
But anyway, games.
Not that you ever care about Minecraft, but Minecraft is so awesome.
Man, y'all love Minecraft, and I love how much y'all love Minecraft.
Minecraft is like so many games in one, but...
I totally get why y'all love it, and that's not what I want from gaming.
It's like Edge of Tomorrow, where you die, you can automatically respawn and go back and get your shit, and you can figure out how to do it better.
Bill, I want to throw open the gamer gates. We're not in a panic.
I know.
Free. You're going to go to Minecraft land, and that's fine. I'm going to go try and fuck some pigeons. That's how it's going to work, my friends. That's okay.
Inspired by all this how to fool boyfriend talk, I tried to fuck some of the pigeons in Minecraft, and it just didn't work out very well.
I couldn't see that not ending
well. He just died and laid an egg. That's all I got.
Rest in peace, Richard Kiel, Jaws from Moonraker.
Annie, tell me about your favorite Richard Kiel moments. From all how many times? What's your favorite parts of Moonraker? What's your favorite lines from him in Moonraker?
Richard. Oh, that guy.
That guy, yeah, big guy.
Big jaw dude. Yeah.
I was convinced that he had played Lurch on the Addams Family in some perspective, but no, it really was his biggest claim to fame was just being the guy with the metal teeth in. My perception, I've never actually seen Moonraker, but he was an unlockable character in the Nintendo 64 GoldenEye game. Yeah. So that's more of my perspective. Is
he was also
a metal mouth guy,
right?
What's that?
I think I've seen The Spy Who Loved Me, and I think he was also in that.
He played
Yes, he
Jaws in two
was.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy. Well, that's too bad.
The other big news that came out this week as a result of him dying was he was originally the guy hired to play the Incredible Hulk in the old Incredible Hulk TV show.
Oh, interesting.
But he got replaced by Lou Ferrigno, but I guess he still shows up in one episode in the first episode. He shows up in one shot in the first episode, real quick, where you can see it's obviously him just painted green, but it's obviously not Lou Ferrigno, but it's just like him being like super skinny. And they fired him because he's super tall, but he's super skinny. So
Yeah.
they wanted someone with more meat on their bones to kind of look more Hulk-like. So that poor guy. Yeah, no, he died. So.
Universal signed a first look deal with the producers that made the terrible, terrible CGI food fight animated movie about everyone's favorite food brands fighting the forces of darkness.
Now, have we talked about this on the podcast, Food Fight?
I don't know.
There is a link in the notes to the trailer for Food Fight. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it is a terrible CGI animated film, obviously animated in some guy's basement. It is the product of, I think it's some licensor in Hollywood.
Are you kidding me?
You've never seen this before? Yeah, it stars Charlie Sheen as a talking dog who's dressed like Indiana Jones. Just Google Food Fight on YouTube. It is just.
Oh my god, this is astonishing. It's very clearly like partially mocap.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's alarming. They just got the attractive female cat. Oh, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
So this is the thing that Universal, the major motion picture company, has signed a first look deal with the people who made this thing that you're watching right now. Supposedly, the value of these guys is like the idea that like they try to turn fast food icons like Twinkie the Kid, Charlie the Tuna, not fast food but just kind of food brand icons into a cartoon. They try to make the Toy Story of that's what Food Fight's supposed to be. Is Toy Story, but instead of toys, it's like Charlie the Tuna and Twinkie the Kid all fighting.
Oh my god.
darkness.
This is one of the worst. This looks like an SNL sketch.
I know for the longest time they actually had the full movie was free on YouTube. I don't know if it's that way anymore, but
Mrs. Butterworth
yeah.
just attacked people.
Yeah, Andy's
What
watching
is
with like the 30-second
happening?
trailer, and it is
It's
just
amazing because it's very clearly partially mocapped.
yeah. I think what happened is that they bought like a licensed library of motion captured animations and just kind of plugged the dialogue over on top of that. But yeah, it's ghastly as shit.
The cast is Charlie Sheen, Eva Longoria, Hilary Duff, Wayne Brady, Chris Kattan, Larry Miller, Harvey Fairstein, and Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, and it's just Wayne Brady plays this black chipmunk pilot guy supposed to be Charlie Sheen's best friend, and it's just ugh.
First
Anyway.
comment on YouTube is the budget was $65 million.
Yeah, no, they were developing this movie for like 10 years. And I think they spent most of the budget for the movie on licensing deals because, like I said, you have Charlie the Tuna and Twinkie the Kid and all these characters, and Mrs. Butterworth showing up. But they obviously only spent like $10 on the animation. And and I think the script was written by the producer guy who had never actually written a movie before, and so it's all just like the worst, like lazily like written jokes and yeah, which is weird because the main character, you think the main character would be a food product spokesperson, but no, it's an original character. It's a dog dressed like Indiana Jones, as voiced by Charlie Sheen.
How is that not an SNL sketch? Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
I know, yeah, and this is Universal that has signed a first look deal with these guys because supposedly they were so impressed by the idea of Food Fight. Regardless of how the movie turned out, they're like, that's a good idea. Actually basing a film around food spokes characters.
Isn't that the inevitable collapse of American culture? I know
That
that's
really
the
is.
most banal thing of me to say, but I'm pretty sure a tentpole movie that's like, well, we're going to have Mr. Clean, and then Mrs. Butterworth, and then Ronald McDonald. They're each going to have their independent features, and then next summer we're going to have a team-up movie.
It'll be the Avengers of the supermarket.
Oh my god, that's it. That's when I pull the plug and move to an island in the middle of nowhere.
We'll have the video game will be like the Smash Brothers of supermarket stuff. We'll have like Mr. Clean duking it out with,
I feel heavy.
Yeah.
Like just.
Well, Welcome to white American 21st century first world just bloat. Yeah.
I just feel, my heart feels fat.
What else can we talk about? Can you feel like you suddenly feel like you're made of gravy and the tears of poor people?
Bill and I understand this. When you're overweight and you mildly exert yourself, you just feel kind of loogy.
You breathe a little heavy and you realize, oh, if I were in the wild, I would have totally been the fat, sick antelope that got eaten miles ago.
I'm just saying, emotionally, I just ran up 10 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
That's how that made me feel.
Oh, God.
Anyway, okay, I'm going to read the next note and try to move on. The website Before Mario, which posts information about Nintendo products created before Nintendo got into console gaming, has announced a Before Mario book that'll be published sometime next year.
Yeah, not the biggest news, but that was just interesting to me
That's
just
very
because
cool.
someone's publishing a book about Nintendo stuff before Nintendo, did stuff. So it's a lot of books about like all the toys they made in the 60s and stuff like that. It's being published by the same company that did like it's a French company that writes all their books in French and translates them. It almost seems like through like Babelfish into English.
Yeah.
And so the English versions of all their books are really kind of like, "Arr." But this Before Mario site, it's an English language site, so I think that's their first natively English written book. But yeah, I think it's mostly just going to be a collection of their best Tumblr posts of big high-res pictures of all the Nintendo stuff that they used to make before they got into video games, along with commentary and stuff. So that's
great.
if you're into Nintendo history stuff, that's interesting. But
yeah,
that's the only news about that really.
Burger King Japan has announced the Black Burger. A burger with a black bun, black pepper meat, and mayo and cheese dyed black with squid ink.
Have you seen the pictures of it?
Yes, it looks nice.
It really is jet black. Well, the bun is black because they put bamboo charcoal into it, which I don't know. Does that make the inside of your mouth jet black?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just imagining like my teeth and tongue turning black while eating this.
Yeah, Andy, friend of the podcast, Andy, who's actually just my ex-housemate, he just came back from his Hawaiian honeymoon, and he brought back like charcoal, black volcanic charcoal salt. Then we used that on some food, and it turned our teeth black because it's got like charcoal on it, and so yeah. But it made it look like you just like ate like fucking toner ink.
Man, your poop would just be jet black. That'd be
Wouldn't that be
terrifying.
kinda interesting though? Just to see what happens, yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. It's just not.
You definitely have to take a shower before anal sex, though, because your butt would just look like...
Oh, Bill.
Look like you're looking into a dark store.
Like, I guess, in that context, I would clean my butthole before I have anal sex.
Well, no, but, like, especially because it's going to be extra confounding. Like, if you see a little brown streak, like, well, whatever, this is this person's butt. But, like, if the person has a comment, like, it has to wonder, like, what the fuck it is that you ate before the anal sex.
Let's move on to the next note on the Geek Week Review.
The last note.
The Legend of Korra returns for its 4th and final season in just 3 weeks, October 3rd. Bill also notes Korra got a haircut the Tumblr is freaking out about. Also, the Foley Maloney household is freaking about it.
Okay, I'm freaking out.
In a good way or bad way?
In a good way. We're all on Team Bob. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Korra has gone through such an emotional change over the last season. It only makes sense that she has a physical change to go along with that.
Yeah.
So, Foley's on team haircut. Also, in fact, literally right now, she is drawing Korra fan art.
Ah, yes. Fantastic. Is it Sami giving her the haircut?
No, it's a friend of the podcast, Mirror by Night, commissioned Foley to draw Asami straddling Korra. So, which I'm like, hey, you know what? If you're gonna be paid,
which is especially easy considering that she's crippled now.
That's right, Bill. I'm like, I would ask you to do that anyway. If someone's gonna pay you to do it, then I'm on board doubly so.
All the better.
So,
I need to create a piece of Korra fan art that is just Korra's empty chair, but now with a new seat welded onto the front of it, like that's just Asami's seat. So she just, sit for oral sex on top of, the wheelchair.
Bill, that's a really good and compassionate idea. That is an excellent perception of disabilities.
Like we started talking about at the beginning of this episode, I'm all about empathy.
You said a horrible thing and I'm not repeating the
I'm just saying! Crippled lesbian cartoon sex! So,
I'm very excited about more Korra. I'm as much as I am sad that it's going to be just kind of popped online to die.
Yeah, Legend of Korra, the cartoon sent to die.
Having said that, I'm just thrilled that we're getting a season 4 and that it's going to happen, and I like the changes that were happening by the end of season 3, and I'm curious about the new context, and I'm excited it's coming sooner rather than
It
later.
will only be aired online again, just going to be digital, and they also announced that every episode is going to be shown in a progressively smaller thumbnail-sized video box on the website. So the finale, it's really going to be like...
The finale is just going to be 2 Tumblr gifs. That's all.
No, Nickelodeon already got duped into like financing these last 3 seasons of Korra, and they're like, you know what, the last episode really is just gonna be, you guys have enough money, 2 animated GIFs, neither of them can be more than 60 frames long. They can repeat though.
Yes.
They can loop.
Yes.
But
So a friend of mine went to school with Michael DiMartino, one of the 2 creators of Legend of Korra and Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And Justin saw him recently and was like, "Oh, hey, my friends really like your show. Like, they talk about it all the
Are
time."
they talking about you?
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, my friends Annie and Philly, they love your show." And Michael's like, "Oh, that's great, thanks." And Justin goes, "Yeah, they really like those 2 girls that are together on that show." And apparently Michael DiMartino was just like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah. Shut up already. Okay,
So,
I get it. Yeah. Is there any chance at all? Any chance? Any chance? There's even a slight nod towards them actually having any kind of relationship by the end of it.
No!
I know, but it's on the internet. No one's watching. They
didn't know that no one was watching on the internet before.
I know.
All I'm hoping is a really strong friendship that if people want to read lesbian subjects into, that's fine.
You know what? I will be happy if they, as long as they just don't force either onto Mako, or Mako onto either of them. It would be nice if they actually just or either that or murder suicide, Butch Cassidy style.
There we go. That's all I want to.
So
Hey,
what happens in
buddy.
the next season?
What happens? Balance happens.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I guess she gets out of the wheelchair because the promo art is her no longer... So I'm assuming she may be she just needed a couple weeks to heal up before she gets back to fighting.
Being in a wheelchair doesn't mean you're permanently disabled.
Really?
I mean, have you...
You know what? Turns out she was only in the wheelchair in that last episode because they were planning to go to the Earth Kingdom Disneyland, and that's the quickest way to get on all the rides.
She's only in that wheelchair because she just ran up 10 flights of stairs.
That's why Asami cut her hair off just because it's a little bit lighter, so she's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll stand up. I can, less weight now.
No, I'm curious to see what happens because this is, well, no, I don't want to, well, I guess you kind of have to spoil the last season. You've kind of gotten the world to a place that's kind of a post-Avatar world.
Yeah.
And what role does the Avatar serve in that world? You already had that to some degree in like a more industrial society that was less in touch with spirituality. But now kind of forcibly the spirits are present. So what purpose does an avatar serve? What does being the avatar mean if she's lost that connection? Like,
well, that's the thing. You could almost see this heading towards she's the last avatar because she's kind of lost her connection. The world doesn't seem to need an avatar quite so much. Who knows? They can go in all kinds of crazy different directions. But I don't know. It'll just be fun to watch. So
yeah. I hope that. They managed to pull off season 3 had problems, but it was still a fun ride.
Yeah.
And I'm just really, all I want from Korra, again, is just an enjoyable time. An enjoyable time with lady friends.
Yeah, if it starts off on October 3rd, and assuming there's 12 or 13 episodes, it should be wrapping up around Thanksgiving or early December, so that's perfect kind of holidays TV show.
Exactly.
And cartoons.
So much TV's coming soon. Let's see, we've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine's coming out. The new Gotham show is going to come out. Gotta watch it.
That's getting rave reviews. And I'm like, how is that happening? It looks terrible.
I'm totally going to watch that. Are you kidding me? I'm going to watch it in a heartbeat.
I just love it's Selena Kyle, and she's supposed to be 16, and she's already climbing on top of stuff for no reason, despite the fact that she's not even trying to be Catwoman yet.
When I was a little girl, I climbed over everything, so I can sympathize with that. I'm just saying.
Did you see the gag where supposedly they haven't cast anyone as the Joker yet, but every episode of the season is supposed to be introducing someone who may potentially turn into the Joker?
That's a pretty good Who Shot Mr. Burns sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good. All right, friends, this was the Boy Hattie Podcast. As always, we're at Boy Hattie Podcast on Twitter. Howdy at boyhattiepodcast.com is a way to email us. You can rate us on iTunes if you're so inclined. You can give us 1 or 2 stars we deserve. It's fine. We don't hate you for it. As always, we'll be back next week to talk about more pop culture detritus.
Woo!
We'll see y'all next week, friends.
Take care, guys. Yeah, we have to figure out what we're doing for recording with Rose City Comic Con stuff next weekend too.
Yeah, we can always do a pre-show podcast on Friday night or Thursday night.
Yeah, either do it in Flash or do it online again or something.
Yeah, you're the one whose schedule will be problematic, so you let me know.
Yeah, Sunday night I'm supposed to be having dinner with like Gina and Mike and Dylan and Katie and stuff, and yeah. Aside from that, yeah, I don't know if or we could even do something like Monday night if we're just doing a post-con wrap-up or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to figure out something.
Well, Bill, here's the thing. I'll say it. You should do something before the con so you can talk about your appearance at the con.
I didn't even think about mentioning that on the show this week.
It's kind of literally your business, dude. You can market your business.
That's the thing. I tend to sell so much over the internet that I'm not so worried about selling stuff online, which is stupid because that way I don't have to pay for like shipping and stuff. But yeah.
Do me a favor and at least put a note in the show notes that you're going to be at Rose City next week.
I don't know what table I have. I have a table, a booth thingy, but yeah.
How many passes to the show do you get?
I have 4 passes. Me and Mike get 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna give one to Maxwell Motley, and the third one is up for grabs. Why do you need one?
We haven't bought tickets yet. I was gonna try and mooch some off of Periscope. Why don't you? I mean, it's Mike. Let Mike give it to whomever he wants. I'll see if I can mooch off of Dylan. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm trying to if unless his wife is coming, I don't know who else he would need to give tickets to.
My point is, don't assume that Mike Russell doesn't have somebody to give a ticket to. And I mean, push comes to shove, I will pay to get into the show.
Yeah.
But I was just.
Both of you guys coming or just you?
We're both coming.
Okay.
But I gotta go. There are at least 3 Lego booths, motherfucker.
I get 4 tickets, 4 chairs. You're totally welcome to take a ticket and use my. Because we don't just have a table, we have a 2-table booth.
Yeah.
We have a corner booth, so it's supposed to be 10 feet by 10. We're supposed to have 100 square feet of space, 2 tables, so there'll be plenty of space there to hang out and shoot the shit stuff. So
you're a sweetheart, Bill. Are you gonna get your prints in time? Is that gonna work out?
Yeah, actually, I was talking to the print shop. They dropped off some proofs. They look fantastic. Actually, they offered to actually deliver the prints directly to the show floor.
Oh wow.
Which my big problem was me not having a car, and Joshin's actually out of town next weekend. Which I was kind of like hoping like I could get a ride with him with all my prints to the shop or to the show, and it turns out that's not going to happen. But if they can just deliver that stuff, getting back from the show floor may be a bigger problem depending on if I don't sell out all of my prints. So I might have to like talk to either you or Dylan or Grumpy Turtle about getting a ride back. But
give us a call if need be, and we can give you the hookup.
But yeah, if that works out, then the only thing I really have to bring to Stumptown is just me and like my my iPad, so I can take Squarespace payments for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, are there any panels or anything like you want to see at the con?
Shame on me. I literally all I've done to look into Rose City is find out which booths are selling Lego.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other thing. If you want to be there for 2 days, you're smart on taking me up on an extra ticket because then you'd have a ticket for both days. So yeah, you figure out what you're doing, and we'll talk more about that this week.
I should go look at the panels. It's close enough too. They may actually have panels listed.
Yeah, I think just like in the last day or 2, they just posted. I should stop recording right now. But yeah, they stopped. They just posted like the panel schedules and all that stuff. So yeah, but yeah, you got all week to think about it. But yeah, there's no one else. Like I would either give my ticket to either you or Grumpy Turtle, and I can't think of anyone else who I'd give my ticket to. So you can duke it out with Grumpy Turtle.
Oh, don't you can.
In that case, it really just depends on who might be there for both days. So you guys can sort that out between yourselves.
Like I said, I can always hit up Dylan. None of these panels are mandatory for me, so I can just.
Oh, okay.
The Sean Astin panel.
They're supposed to be having a screening of The Goonies next weekend, attended by both Sean Astin and Joey Pants, which I would actually like to see.
Joey Pants.
Joey Pants is good. I had no idea Joey Pants was going to be a guest at the Rose City.
My favorite Joey Pants line delivery is in Bound.
Yeah.
When he says, "Sure is dark in here." It's my favorite line delivery.
It's because it's right after they were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you see him on the show floor, you can just kind of like shout that at him.
But that's what it is. Fucking dark in here. That's what it is. There's like the beautiful cadence of that.
Yeah, no, Joey Pants is the best.
Yeah.
It was great, like pop.
Yeah.
The
Joey Pants is one of America's treasures when it comes to acting. But yeah, I think they were supposed to have like Cisco from Deep Space Nine or something like that. I know Troy from Star Trek Next Generation was supposed to show up. She backed out. She found out Bill Mudrin was going to be there, and he's in a
Of
key role.
course. Yeah. Oh, convert that nerdy shirt to one size fits you. Perfect for ladies who love the screen print designs, only available in guys sizes. Learn how to modify your favorite geek shirt for fit, style, and function.
Is that a panel?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of funny actually. That's cool.
Anyway, yeah, I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you got a week. Yeah.
I will, but yeah, if you do need a ride from the show, yeah, feel free to ping us, and if we're free, we'll totally.
But you guys are gonna have Maxwell, so who knows what the hell's gonna be happening. So yeah, like I said, but we got a week to kind of make plans and stuff like that. So that's why I'm not too worried about stuff. But yeah, and Maxwell's actually she's offered to actually help out with the show floor, like take care of stuff if I have to like run off to a panel or something like that.
Yeah, she's a sweet hat.
But yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping that I should be more hyped up about. I just got my $200 worth of business cards just showed up today.
Oh yeah.
I got 800 business cards for $200.
Wow, Bill.
I don't know how many business cards I need, but I'm gonna have a shitload.
No, that's not. You'll never need to print business cards ever again for the rest of your life.
It's the thing where the Moo cards from Flickr, like you could have artwork on one side and have a thing on the other side, like text on the other side, and.
What you should do is you should include one of your business cards with every print you send.
Actually, that's a smart idea too. So
I've had lots of artists.
Well, originally I thought because again I didn't have like a dedicated ride to the convention. I wasn't thinking I was going to be able to bring that much in the way of prints. And what I was really going to do, I thought I was going to be stuck kind of saying, hey, I don't have that many prints with me. I sold out. But hey, here's my website. You can order online. But if they're just going to deliver like 200 prints to the convention floor. I mean, that's not going to be an issue anymore. But like I said, it's more about me trying to get rid of stock so I don't have to worry about dragging that much stuff back home after the convention's over. But yeah, you guys are sweethearts even for often, but we'll talk more about this later on this week. Yeah. So.
All right, my friend. Yeah, think about what schedule-wise would work well for you on recording a next episode, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, it really doesn't matter to me. Aside from the fact that I'm supposed to be doing dinner with Mike and Gina on Sunday night, that's the only thing I can do. So. Anyway, okay, I'll let you guys go do stuff. Foley, good luck with the Cora art.
He says good luck with Cora art.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I really
yeah.
need to print that. What is it? That the Tom of Finland quote, real big.
Oh yeah, I found that Tom of Finland quote, which was like basically, if I don't have an erection while drawing, then I'm doing something wrong. I was like, oh, it's Foley's catchphrase.
And Foley should make that into a shirt for Rose City.
There we go.
Around, okay,
right,
I'll
friend, I just sent you the MP3, pal.
Oh, okay, you're super awesome. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye, Bill.
I'm trying to do hard stuff too. I can't. Okay, you guys do stuff. Tell Hannah Groff I said hi.
Absolutely. Bye, Bill.
Take care, guys.